Welcome to Victorious Living, Next Level Victorious Living. I'm your host, Charles Eduardos, and I am excited to be here with you today as we continue our journey to the next level and the next level and the next level, continuing the connections and continuing to advance forward in heightening our awareness. Victorious living is all about empowering and releasing human potential through a heightened self awareness. How high can you go? Well, let's find out together. What do you say? We've been looking at the pillars, the four pillars of victorious living. And we started out a couple of weeks ago with the first level, the first pillar, which is, of course, rapport. How do you build a relationship with others, and how do you build a relationship with yourself? A lot of times we are not in sync with ourselves. And let me turn this off before it starts ringing. My apologies. Um, how do you get along with you? How well do you know you? What are some of those things that are hiding down beneath your conscious awareness in your life? We've talked about this before, and this is a subject that, for all intents and purposes, we could talk about a lot, forever and ever, you might say. We could really spend just a whole lot of time about so many of the nuances of having rapport with yourself. Um, and that, having a good rapport with you can play a key role in how you establish and maintain rapport with others. So, this is something, again, we've touched on. I can get caught up on it and we can spend a whole lot more time today, but we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. I think last week, even. Well, last week I was kind of on the move, but a week before last we got into this a little bit. But it's really, really important. Understanding rapport. And as always, I'm just going to say right at the outset, if you need to get a hold of me, let me know questions that you may have around the things that we talk about here. My email is right there on the bottom of the screen. So grab the email. You can also get a hold of me through Facebook, through Messenger, or messaging me right here on Facebook or on LinkedIn or Twitter. Um, I am easy to track down, to locate. So please ask your questions, things that you want to push back on. I welcome that. I invite you to do that so that we can, both of us together, uh, grow and learn and get a little bit deeper with our understanding. We are amazing creatures, and there is so much that goes on in our subconscious level of awareness that we're not, again, we're just not aware of it. It's subconscious, it's beneath our conscious awareness. And that's our autopilot. In so many of our situations, the autopilot is operating predicated on how we were brought up, how we learned how to get on in the world and with people. Some of the presuppositions, the beliefs that we have. Uh, some beliefs are not resourceful, but yet we believe them to be true. It's not what we don't know, but it's the things that we know that aren't so, that aren't really true, that can really get in the way. Things that we have just assumed to be. This is the way it is. This is the way it's always been. And pretty much negate the amazing potential that we have to create a different reality for ourselves. Um, and sometimes it is a real challenge to say, huh, All this time I've thought this way, and I see now this is not the best line of thinking or believing. This is not really serving me as well as I had thought or assumed it would serve me. So, rapport is absolutely key. It is absolutely vital to our understanding. So, that being said, let's go to the next pillar. And again, this is just by way of review. And the next pillar is sensory awareness. How the world is different when you use all of your senses. All of your senses. Now, what are our senses? Well, of course, there is the visual sense. What do we see? And that's not even only physically seeing with our eyes, but seeing with our inner vision, seeing, I don't see how this plan can work in that sense of more of an internal visualization. Um, what are we hearing, both externally and internally? What are we feeling? What is our sense of how this uh, plan, as we're using a plan, how does this plan feel? Does it feel right in its premise, in its thesis? Uh, can you, does it feel good as you envision putting this plan into action? Does it feel right? Does it feel like it's the right thing, the good thing to do? Looking at what is the ecology, not only how it's going to affect you personally, but how is it going to affect your peers? How is it going to affect other people in the company in general, other divisions or departments within the company or organization that you work for? How is it going to, if it's a family issue, how is it going to affect the others within the household? Or is it just all about me and what feels good and right for me? What are the long term ramifications? It may be an instant fix in this moment for this particular situation, but what's the probable fallout? And how is it going to affect other people? As we think that through, we can dodge a few landmines, we can dodge a few tripwires, and keep those uh, claymore devices from blowing up in our face sometimes. We can look at these things by analyzing it, using the inner wisdom beforehand, using that inner wisdom to see and to consider and to reckon or calculate what is likely to happen, what's not likely to happen. So, just a thorough examination of how the sensory awareness can help us in our planning. What are we not only seeing externally, but what are we seeing internally? What are we hearing internally? What inner voices are speaking to us? And then how are we feeling about it? Does it feel right? Does it feel safe? Does it feel positive and productive? Um, There's also smell and taste that get involved, and those are somewhat in the background in certain situations, but those aspects are also, we even use expressions, for example, left a bad taste in my mouth, that last meeting that we had. Um, Even though we were not chomping on one another, but it's these are the metaphors that we use in our day-to-day operations in our lives, and they speak to deeper feelings, deeper awareness that when we are increasing our sensory awareness, that can speak volumes to us. How is it that, and every person has a dominant part of their VAC system, visual auditory kinesthetic system. Some people are more visual, some people are more auditory. Interestingly enough, the olfactory, the sense of smell, is in many ways a lot more powerful than we uh, give credit for, because smells do, as we know in romantic situations, uh, the what is that movie with Al Pacino, The Scent of a Woman? Okay, so olfactory does and can play a large role. This is one of the reasons that incense is used in religious liturgies and services. The sense of smell can be tremendously powerful and influential in our lives. So we talk about the sensory awareness, how bringing all of the senses, how did it look? How did it smell? How did it taste? How did it feel? What did it sound like? These things, as we bring them to conscious awareness, can again speak volumes to us as we review and view any situation or circumstance. So, the next, and now here's where we start to, that's the review of the four pillars. We get into uh, pillar number 3, which is outcome thinking. Interestingly, this morning I was talking to one of my proteges about, I believe she said it was her niece that has this vision, and I don't know how many of you have vision boards, um, but vision boards um, are very useful in a graphic visual representation of desired outcomes that we want. Outcome thinking. Stephen Covey, quoting him, he said, start your project, start with the end in mind. This is outcome thinking. What is it? What's the end game? When I successfully complete this project, what will I see? What will I hear? How will I feel? What's it going to feel like? It tastes like rock lobster dipped in garlic butter. Now, that's outcome thinking. So, and we may not be literally talking about having rock lobster, but it's going to taste like that because maybe I'll have a little bit more rock lobster as garlic butter as part of my regular diet. I'm not having it as much as I'd like to. I don't know, but I'm just saying. So the outcome thinking is key, getting specific with it. What kind of car will you be driving? Will it be maybe a Ford Fusion? Maybe it'll be a Cadillac, maybe it'll be an Audi, a BMW, maybe specifically a white BMW with mag wheels. I don't know. Maybe it'll be specifically an Audi A6, and it'll be a blue, a particular color of blue, but be specific in your visualization and you're seeing it. Well, how's that office going to look? Is it going to be an office overlooking the lake, overlooking the ocean, maybe somewhere? How is it going to be decorated and appointed? What is the decor? What that home or apartment or condominium? What's it going to look like? How many bathrooms? How many bedrooms? Does the kitchen have an island? Is the stove? Is it a wall-mounted stove oven rather, and maybe on the island is a 4-eye burner? Is it electric or is it gas? burners in the island. Um, just getting specific about the things in your outcomes and thinking again, not only on the physical, but also thinking about the how it's going to sound there. Will you have the sound of the ocean? Uh, what's it going to look like? Of course. How's it going to feel? It's going to have a special homey feel to this place, so that as you walk into the place, you'll feel it, you'll smell it, you'll taste it. What does the air taste like? Maybe if you're by the ocean, it'll actually you'll have that taste of salt sea air, and you'll know it. So outcome thinking, being as specific about the outcomes that you want as you can be. um, Thinking about the job position that you want, doing what will be the types of things that you will accomplish. Your team, how many people are you going to be working with, or how many people are going to be working for you? What your new business is going to be like as you enter entrepreneurship. Are you going to hire staff, or are you going to have contractors in key specific areas that will be working for you? Outcome thinking, and get it down, get it as specific as you can. And remember always, no plan is ever written in stone. We're always flexible. We're always able to adapt, to improvise, and overcome any obstacles that may emerge in the process. But there will be always, as you are specific, that inward knowing, that inward alignment that you'll have to know that you're moving in the right direction. It looks right, smells right, feels right, tastes right. Everything is on point, and always being open to the learnings that are ever present every step of your journey. Every step you take, there are learnings. What worked? What didn't work? What could be improved upon? So we're always keeping, again, the outcome thinking predicated on the model, the image that you have of what that outcome is going to look like, feel like, taste like, smell like, the whole sensory awareness thing. So I hope this is making sense for you. That's pillar number 3, then, your outcome thinking. And then we go to pillar number 4, behavioral flexibility. And I just alluded to this just a moment ago. Behavioral flexibility, how to do something different when your plan isn't quite coming out. You're able to uh, adjust. You don't want to keep doing the same thing if it's not working. You want to do something different. Einstein's definition of insanity, again, doing the same thing the same way and expecting a different outcome. That's crazy. That's insanity. So if something isn't working, how can I tweak this? How can I adjust this? Sometimes just a little small adjustment can make a world of difference. So, how can I tweak this process? What do I need to add to the process? What do I maybe need to eliminate from the process? Who do I need on the team that isn't currently on the team? What skill set may be missing here? What is it that I am? Watch this question, one of my favorite questions. What is it I'm refusing to see in this? Because again, we all have our tendencies toward our own brand of myopia. Okay, so how do you go about doing something different if what you're currently doing isn't working? How am I getting in my own way? What do I need to change in my thinking and or my behavior that's going to help move me toward my desired outcome? Okay, again, we're keeping all of these are not exclusive. They kind of intermesh and blend together. So again, the rapport, am I in rapport? And you'll notice it. You'll feel when you're starting to in the process of going through four pillars, um, or I should say maybe the other three pillars as you're focusing in on one. We're looking at the behavioral flexibility in this moment. So how are those other three pillars then influencing and impinging upon how I'm looking at this current pillar of my behavioral flexibility? Am I maybe not as flexible as I thought I was? Maybe I see myself as a pretty flexible guy, but maybe I'm holding some subconscious rigidity in a particular area that's causing me a little grief here, and that I need to be a little bit more flexible. Is there somebody, oh no, I don't want to work with them? Well, maybe in this particular case, I need their expertise. I need their wisdom in this area. So, do I need to maybe get beyond personalities here and see how I might be able to create a win win situation with this person that maybe I tend not to want to give in to for whatever reasons? And that Lord knows there's all kinds of reasons that can get in there, right? But we won't talk about that today. All right. So, but the behavioral flexibility is really key. And again, I hope you're seeing how, okay, I kind of lost rapport with myself there in my rigidity and my refusal to be as flexible as maybe I need to be. Maybe because I'm too focused on personalities and not on my outcome thinking. I'm letting some of my own biases get in the way of what I have described as my desired outcome. Oh, there's all kinds of ways that we play games with ourselves and that we end up shooting ourselves in the foot, self sabotaging over egoic stuff. And sometimes that ego gets in the way of really the good that is part of our plan, part of our desired outcome. But there's so many subtle ways that these little things can get in the way and just ruin a very good plan for a very good outcome. So you always want to be checking all four. Am I in rapport with my people, with myself? Am I being flexible? Am I keeping my outcome thinking focused? Am I using all of my senses? Am I in touch with sensory awareness, through sensory awareness, with myself and with others? Am I seeing the full picture? Am I seeing it accurately? Am I getting input from others? Because again, I recognize my tendency toward my own particular unique brand of myopia. There's certain things that I just am conditioned not to notice, not to see. And maybe I need somebody on the team that's going to see these things and call me on these things so that I'm doing the best possible job. And I am at all times being the absolute best version of me that I can be. We're talking next level here. We're talking next level stuff that is just really outstanding, good stuff. So there you have it for this week. We want to make sure that those four pillars are balanced and aligned, and we do that dance between the four pillars so that we know at any given moment, at any given time, we're keeping all four of those pillars balanced and in check. we're keeping rapport with everyone. We're using the full sensory awareness. We're keeping that focus on our outcome thinking, and we're maintaining that behavioral flexibility in our thinking and behavior in order to achieve the total picture. Hope that makes sense to you. Please, please, please respond to me. Give me your comments, your input. Let me know how these next level victorious living sessions, live streams, are they giving you good stuff? Share with me anecdotally. Share with me stuff that you're doing, how you've applied it in your life, and how it's working for you. Give me your pushback, your feedback, but let me know. Let's make this a dialogue. I look forward to having some of you join me live. Um, Let me know if you'd like to be on the program with me to quiz me on some things or to share some of your input. But let's make this next level thing really next level. What do you say? Until next Monday at noon Eastern Standard Time, I am Charles Eduardos, your host here on Next Level Victorious Living. Have a great week. Make it an awesome week. See you next Monday.